If you're like me, then that means that you love a pot pie. There's just something about the creamy, luscious sauce and those ever so tender, juicy vegetables and that topping of that crust that just makes everything worthwhile. Just because we're eating vegan doesn't mean we still can't enjoy our pot pie. I am going to show you how. Let's get started. All right, first thing I want to do to get started is I've got some vegetables, right? So obviously this is going to be a vegetable pot pie with a few tricks up our sleeve, all right? So I've got carrot, I've got some celery, I've got a leek, and I've got some fennel. I just want to get all of the vegetables chopped up and into some water and get them cleaned. All right, so that's a leek that I just cut up. Leeks are very, very, very gritty. They grow in sand. The thing with a leek is you gotta make sure you really wash it, because the last thing you want is for all of that sand and all of that gook to be in your luscious, creamy pot pie. That we don't want, all right? And this is a fennel. So these are all vegetables that you can readily find pretty much everywhere these days. Fennel, leeks, I'm using carrot, there's onion, there's garlic, there's celery, but this is your pot pie, so I want you to let your imagination run wild. Whatever vegetables you like, you can certainly use those in the pot pie. What we're gonna do though is we're actually gonna roast off the vegetables. So I'm just dicing them down and getting them cut, and I'm gonna put them in the water because what that's gonna do is allow me to wash all the diced vegetables pretty easily and get all of the crap and the dirt off of the vegetables. All right, so I've got a sheet tray here, and I'm just gonna get some parchment paper because what I wanna do is lay this down for a couple of reasons. One, to make sure nothing sticks or burns, and then two, obviously to make sure we've got easy cleanup, because I don't know about you, but anybody got time to begin here trying to clean up all day, all right? Now, I'm taking all of my fresh, chopped, delicious vegetables, and I'm gonna just drain off the water and get them on a sheet tray. And the reason I'm roasting the vegetables is because I think they're gonna give me a much more delicious flavor. When you boil the vegetables, the water has all the flavor, the vegetables have none. This way, we're gonna keep all of the flavor and the integrity in the vegetables while we roast them off in the oven. Just a better way to do it, that's all. All right, let's get some olive oil down until the situation. These look amazing already. And then with the olive oil, let's do some salt. So I've got some flaked sea salt here. You can use flaked sea salt, kosher salt. It's completely up to you. But let's make sure you put enough. Enough salt is important because these vegetables are pretty bland. So we got to make sure we load them up with flavor. And then I've got lots of really fresh black pepper. Now I'm going to get in here with my fingers, and I'm gonna swirl this around and get this all mixed up because I wanna make sure every dice of vegetable has some olive oil, salt and pepper action happening. This looks good to me. I got an oven preheated 400 degrees, 12, 15-ish minutes. In about 12 minutes, we'll start watching it. Make sure it doesn't burn. Let's put these in and let's roast these until they're golden brown. While the vegetables are doing their thing, let's work on some biscuits, right? So these are gonna be vegan buttermilk biscuits, and they're going to be fantastic. So the first thing I want to do is I'm just getting the flour action happening. To the flour, I'm also going to add some baking powder. All right, and then to my baking powder, I'm just going to put in some salt. That's it for my dry ingredients, and I'm just going to get a spoon and get this well incorporated and let this sort of hang out, let it aerate, things like that. All right, so this looks good to me. I love that, all right? Now, while this is working, we need to make our buttermilk. So this is what I have. I have some half and half that's actually made from pea milk, which is fantastic. One swig of this and you're gonna be like, wait a minute, this is real half and half? It is. So I'm gonna put the half and half right into a glass. Okay, and then to the half and half, I'm just gonna add just a drizzle of white vinegar. All right, I'm gonna give this a stir, And shortly what'll happen is this is gonna begin to curdle and we're gonna have our buttermilk, okay? Good stuff happening, all good stuff. All right, now let's make the biscuit. Why don't we do that? So while we have our flour and our salt and our baking powder, let's put a little sugar, all right? And then let's start to add the fat that's gonna help us out. So the first thing is gonna be some vegetable shortening, but it's butter flavored vegetable shortening that's also vegan. So that's gonna go in. And then speaking of vegan, I've also got some vegan butter, your favorite brand. Let's put that in as well. All right, now, there's only one way to do this. There's only one way I know, and that's with clean hands to get in here. And we're gonna incorporate the dry ingredients with the butter. All right, there's only one way that I know to make sure we're in good territory when it comes to if you've got everything incorporated. And that's when you pick up your flour and butter mixture and you hold it together in the palm of your hands. If it holds together like wet sand, then you're good to go. So if we just hold it and press it together, and then we do this, look at this. This lets me know that I'm in good territory, right? So I'm good to go with the incorporation of the flour and the butter. All right, so here's our buttermilk. We're just gonna add that right to the mix, and let's give it a stir. And we're just gonna stir to combine. And guess what we have? We have biscuit dough. So let's flour the surface a little bit. Show you how this looks. Looks so good. All right, one thing you don't want is you don't want your biscuit dough to stick. Let's turn our biscuit dough out onto the surface. All right, and then I'm just going to not overwork it, but just knead it until all of the dry ingredients and the flour, everything's one mixture. Just like that. That looks good to me. A little bit more flour, make sure nothing sticks. And that's it. Look at that. We have a fantastic biscuit dough that looks really, really, really good. Here's a biscuit cutter. Here's one. Look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Here's two. Here's three. 4. There's 5. We should be able to get a 6th and a 7th if we do this right. Let's just see what we can do. There's 6. All right. And then let's get one more to make 7. There we go. I'm just gonna spray with a little pan spray so nothing sticks or burns. And our biscuits are gonna go right in. Oven's at 350 degrees. These are gonna bake up until they're golden brown. So while the biscuits are in the oven, the vegetables are roasting, it's time to make the filling. So I've got a skillet here, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of olive oil on the bottom of the skillet to start this luscious sauce. And then here's what I've got to start to saute. I've got some onion, some garlic, and I'm gonna use yellow bell pepper. By all means, whatever vegetables you like, you can use those. If you don't have yellow and you have green or you have red or orange or whatever, use that, all right? I'm gonna put those in here, and then here are my onion. Look at this, already diced, ready to go. I love this supermarket shortcut. I'll forever be a fan. All right, let's give this a stir. And then while this is starting to heat through and get some contact time with the oil, let's also put a little bit of salt and pepper. Again, it's about layers of flavor from the very beginning. That's gonna be always so super important, right? So there's some pepper to begin with. And then here's some salt. All right, and then we'll give this a stir. All right, so everything's nice and caramelized. This looks really, really good. So I think it's a good time to add in the herbs. So I'm just gonna chop up some fresh rosemary, and to that I've also got some fresh thyme that I'm gonna throw in here as well. So rosemary, thyme, all great things to add to a pot pie. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit more oil in the bottom of the pan. And then now it's time to start making the roux, all right? So that's gonna be the base of our thickening. So to the oil and all the vegetables and the herbs, a little bit of flour is gonna go in here, all right? And along with that, I've got a half of a vegetable bouillon that's gonna go in as well. It's gonna give us a lovely flavor that we need to make a good sauce for our pot pie. I'm just gonna give this a stir. All right, so let's season our pot pie. So let's put a little bit of granulated garlic powder right in here. I've got some Italian seasoning, you know, the Italian herbs, those are gonna go in. And then lastly, one of my all-time favorites, ground fennel seed. It's just gonna bring a wonderful, nutty, floral flavor to the party. It's gonna be really good. All right, let's give this a stir. And already it smells wonderful, okay? So now I've got some vegan half and half, or half and half that's made from pea milk. So I'm gonna throw that in. Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Okay, now this is it. This is the base of our sauce. It's gonna get nice and thick. While that happens, I think it's a good time to throw in those vegetables. So remember those vegetables that we cooked up, the potatoes, the leeks, the fennel, those can go right in here. Looks great. And then the only other thing I'm gonna throw in here is I've got some frozen peas, because I think frozen peas just go really good with a pot pie. I mean, it's nice and creamy and delicious. So let's throw in frozen peas. Yes. And then let's taste it, because we got to see if we need to adjust, add any salt and pepper. So let's taste the sauce. That's the only way you're going to know what you need. Oh gosh, that is so good. It needs nothing. Oh my gosh, this is delicious. All right, pot pie looks good. Look how thick and luscious this sauce looks. This is amazing. All right, now all I want to do is add those biscuits right on top, and this is gonna go back in the oven and heat and cook all the way through. All right, here you go. Here's our vegan pot pie. It is bubbly, it is juicy, it is delicious. Let me just get in here with some of this sauce. I know it's gonna be good. Look, it's still smoking hot. Hands down, amazing. Recipes like this, you know exactly where they're gonna be. On my website, it's DariusCooks.tv. Listen, there's two things I wanna tell you, as I always do. Food is my life, it's my food. Until next time, I wanna wish you happy cooking from my heart to yours. Bye, y'all.